Hi everyone, I'm Lisa England, and I'm so glad you've joined me today to talk about transmedia storytelling. Creating a transmedia storytelling experience is a really exhausting and rewarding effort. I did it recently with a project called Aurelia, Edge of Darkness, which was a 15-week collaborative storytelling adventure run on the Theatrix platform.
Aurelia. Once this land was a paradise of life and light. But then, darkness fell. The land grew thorny. Once docile creatures prowled for blood, and the skies poured acid rain. To escape, humankind fled to a central mountain and built themselves a city. A city founded on science, run by inventors, and powered by steam. For 1,000 years, Aurelia's walls kept the darkness out. But now, its energy reserves are failing. If their boilers fall silent, the citizens will lose another paradise. And this time, there is nowhere else to go. The future lies in your hands. As a citizen of Aurelia, you can bring the city to life and help tell its collective story. The process is simple. On the show's left-hand dashboard, create a persona, a character who lives in Aurelia. Introduce your character through a short video post, blog entry, or photos. Then, watch and respond to other actors' performances. Each week, new calls to action will invite you to advance the story. Will the citizens of Aurelia find a way to restore their future? Or will the light go out once and for all?
Let's talk about why would you undertake this kind of storytelling project at all? I didn't make money off of it. I didn't even break even. At this stage, what I really need is more professional experience, and not just professional experience of writing something behind a closed door in my office, but of putting something out into the world. Until it gets out to an audience, it really hasn't done the thing that the business world is looking for it to do, which is to engage an audience, ultimately who will be willing to, contribute dollars. Also, social capital. This is actually, to me, worth more than financial capital at this point in my career. And I hope that at a certain level, it is always worth a lot to me, because social capital is about relationships. You're not creating a product, you're creating a community. And the further we go into the digital age, the more and more that becomes evident. Think of your transmedia storytelling adventures as a way to build that social capital and begin to build an audience around your work so that later on you can add the financial component. You are not an individual, you are a brand. You need a platform. We need to have a space where people can gather, again, that sense of community around who we are, around what we create. And your transmedia project is a way to do that. Start with story, and remember that story starts with conflict. Now you say, well, I don't even know where to start. I've got this big audience that I want to engage. I want them to help me tell the story through these different transmedia channels. Where do I start? Well, I recommend that you start with a group hero. That means that you create a community or a group of people or a team or some kind of crowd situation and put conflict into the crowd. I had built my original fantasy serial, Rise of the Tiger, around a city. I had set the city in an energy crisis. And so naturally the city became the group hero of the show Aurelia. And then create a strong A plot. That's your action plot. I decided where it would start, what would be the points that we would hit each week along the way in the plot, and then I decided what the climax would be or what the third act showdown or the end of that A plot would be. Now, I didn't really know how we were going to get to each of these plot points. I didn't know what was going to happen in the B plots or the C plots, those emotional or those sub-action plots that come along, because the actors were going to add that. The audience was going to put it in. Be sure you have a strong story. There's lots of conflict. And if you're inviting the audience to help tell it, be sure that you create a scenario where everyone is the hero. The next most important piece of your project are your partners, the people that you invite to work with you to bring the project to life. It was actually backwards for me in that my partner Theatrix found me first. They saw the serial that I wrote, Rise of the Tiger, and actually invited me to be a beta tester for their platform. Chances are that you'll be in the opposite position where you're taking the story out and finding people to bring it to life. Let's talk about the two kinds of partners you might need. One is a technology partner, and the other are execution partners. In the area of technology partners, of course, Theatrix was mine. You may be just going out and looking at the various free platforms that are available. Maybe you're going to use social media, Facebook, Vine, or Vimeo, or Glossy, and TouchCast, whether you're just using a tool that's available or whether you're going out and finding a new platform or designing a platform that you're going to use. Have that in place and know why you're using that particular platform. The other type of partner that I mentioned is the execution partner. Those are the people who are going to help you communicate with an audience, develop the assets for the story, basically bring all the parts and pieces together to bring this to life. For me, for Aurelia, I had 3 kinds. I had video editors, I had interns, and I had artists. I set aside some funds from the money that I earn at my day job, and I created a budget for the show. You may say, I don't have any money at all at this point to put toward a project. That's okay. You can trade favors with colleagues that you have. Be sure that you set that out and that you also make the terms clear to everyone as you come to work together. Audience building takes a lot of time.
It doesn't just involve one person's creativity, but the creativity of every single person who gets themselves involved in it.
It's audience participation. It's that line between the company and the audience. That line becomes blurred.
It's fresh, it's new.
It's not just me posting a video, it's me living in a world.
It is much easier to start building an audience among people that you already have some amount of rapport built up with. Is it the comic book community? Is it the science fiction community? Where are they? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Do they have private forums? Go there. Invite people to engage. Let them know that this is a chance for them to help tell a story with you. If they're having a fantastic time in those early days of your project, they're going to tell their friends. That's the most powerful form of recruiting. This will be a full-time job every day. And that looks like keeping up with correspondence from actors, audience members who will be contacting you a lot. That looked like designing new assets for the calls to action that released every week. That looked like monitoring all of the interaction on the site, although some of that I did delegate to my interns as we went along. And then also preparing press releases and other types of information to go out to bloggers, magazines, trade publications, pretty much anyone that I could get to give a hearing. Probably there will be bumps, and you'll hit kind of the culmination of that around the midpoint of your show. It's a community. People bump into each other. Stuff happens. Interpersonal things happen. There was sort of a big eruption where people were like, I really want the game structure, and people who didn't want it were saying, hey, I just want to tell a story and collaborate with you. And I had to figure out as a showrunner what I felt about that because I hadn't established it early. I had to make a designation. I had to draw the line in the sand, and we lost a few actors off of that. But once the dust sort of settled from that, we were able to move forward with a smaller, more unified group of people. If you keep doing the day-to-day tasks, the day-to-day work of managing the show, and if you keep a positive atmosphere and keep everyone excited and try to deal with problems as they arise, each step is a step toward the top of the mountain, so to speak, if you take the climbing metaphor. We focus on the beginning of things, how to get them started, how to get them rolling. But sometimes we forget to talk about how do we end well. Fortunately, I had really smart partners and mentors at Theatrics who advised me to put a cap on how long an Aurelia season would be. Looking toward the end of Aurelia, here are a couple things that I did that I found helpful. One, I made sure everyone was aware of when the finale of the show, of that season anyway, was going to be. Second, have a defined ending. Have a sort of showdown or a climactic event in mind, something that people can work toward as a community and as a group. End strong, end on a positive note. Be sure that you thank everyone who's been involved. Be sure that you share a wrap-up video or something like that. Looking back on Aurelia, which wrapped just a couple of weeks ago now, what exactly did this experience do? Here are my thoughts. First off, it did all of the things that I talked about at the beginning of the why. It helped me to expand my professional repertoire and the things that I could talk about that I've done professionally as a creator. It helped me to build social capital and to expand my audience and diversify them. It also helped me to build a platform that I'd started to build with the serial Rise of the Tiger, but this really expanded it quite a bit and helped me to get even deeper into a community that I want to continue writing for. I debuted my new blog to significantly higher engagement. In addition to that, I forged some wonderful relationships with genre bloggers and fans, was able to garner some fantastic press for my property, and I'm about to release the Aurelia Bestiary, which is the first creative product in this property that will actually be for sale. Whatever new and exciting and different thing you bring to this emerging field of storytelling, I hope that you will have the courage and the tenacity and the passion to go out and make your story a reality. I guarantee you the experience won't be what you expect, but it will be amazing, and you will be so thankful on the other side that you did it. And the best of all, your story will get out into the world and will go to an audience, and that's when it really comes to life.